Hey there, welcome everybody. We're playing Fall Classic Baseball. I'm replaying the 1990 Reds season. We're playing August 2nd, 1990. I'm Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Join the Universal Baseball Association Facebook group. And what makes this game very, very interesting is we're going for our 15th win in a row. Now, on paper, we've got Tom Browning. He's an A pitcher versus Dennis Rasmussen. He's a C pitcher. So, on paper, the advantage is going to the Reds in this game, but that means nothing. Now, I have several pitchers on hand. Four pitchers, four relief pitchers. So this may be a bullpen game for the Padres because I don't want this game to get out of hand in any way, shape, or form. I want to keep it close the whole way. And it's we're going for 15 in a row. All right, let's start. Now, Fall Classic, you roll 2d6 just like you would with APA, and then of course the d20, like just for informational reasons for the outs and so on. You'll see how that, and splits. There's splits as well in this game. This game is a cross between I'd say APA and Stratomatic. It's got flavor of both those games. So it's Bitt Roberts, the left fielder, Roberto Alomar at second base, Tony Gwynn, the right fielder, Jack Clark at first base, Joe Carter, the center fielder. Then it's Eddie Williams. He's a third baseman. Terrible third baseman, by the way. Last time he played, I think he committed 3 errors. Mark Parent, the catcher, batting 7th. Batting 8th is Gary Templeton, the shortstop, and Dennis Rasmussen is on the mound. For the Reds, it's Chris Sabo at third base, Mariano Duncan, the second baseman, Barry Larkin, shortstop, Eric Davis, the center fielder, Glenn Braggs, the right fielder, batting 5th. 6th is Todd Benzinger, the first baseman, Joe Oliver, the catcher, 7th. Billy Hatcher playing left field, batting 8th, and batting 9th is Tom Browning. Play ball. All right, Dan, it's a ground ball to short, picked up by Larkin, over to first, 1 down. Next up is Roberto Alomar. Alomar was batting .287 with 6 home runs in 1990. I was never aware that he played with the San Diego Padres. Here's a pitch, and it's a 3-32, and that's a drive in the gap. Actually, no. That's going to be lined and caught by the third baseman, L5. So ripped off the bat of Alomar, and right there to catch it is Sabo. So 2 away, and here's Gwynn. Gwynn rips one to center field, and he's on with a single. And, he may get picked off here. Browning is an arm of A, so it's 1-6. And he is safe, gets back in there. So Browning spins and whips it to first, and the tag is put on by Benzinger, but not in time. Here's Jack Clark. 1 on, 2 out. Pitch to Clark, and that's a 65. That's going to be deep, way back. That ball is gone. 2-0. 2-0 Padres, just like that. Yikes. Jack Clark connects on a 2-run homer here in the first inning. This is the luck of Tom Browning throughout the year. He's had the same luck. 2 outs and can never get out of the inning cleanly. Joe Carter with a 26, and against a lefty that's banged up the middle and through into center field, so Carter's on with a single. Next is Eddie Williams. Here's the pitch to Williams, 63, and that will be a ground ball to third, to second for the force, and that retires the side. You got 2-0. The Padres are up just like that, so this is the Reds going for their 15th consecutive victory. Here's Chris Sabo. Pitch from Rasmussen. 52, that's an error check. against the third baseman. Third baseman Williams, and he boots it, like I told you. Picks it up over the head of the first baseman and going into second base on a two-base error is Sabo. Williams is a mess, so every time he gets that ball, he's most likely going to commit an error. Eddie Williams with a 13 at third base. Here's Mariano Duncan. Here's the pitch from Rasmussen, a 65, and that ball is back, way back, and that ball is gone. Game is tied. Mariano Duncan. Next up is Barry Larkin. So in a minute, I'm going to be I'm going to finish the inning and then input the data. Here's Barry Larkin. He's up. And that is ripped to center field for a base hit. A rope off the bat of Larkin. He stands at first base. And here's Eric Davis. The pitch from Rasmussen, a 62. And that will be line to left field. Positioned perfectly is Bip Roberts. He makes the catch for the first out. Glenn Braggs now. And Glenn Braggs with a 35, and that'll be a base hit. Check swing blooper that drops in behind the shortstop, and runner will hold. First and second now, and here's Todd Benzinger. Rasmussen checks in with Parent. Sets and deals, and that's a snake eyes, which will be a line out to left field again, so he rips it. Every ball has been hit hard off Dennis Rasmussen. Joe Oliver now, I call him Lucky Joe because he's a .230 hitter that's batting over 300, and we're 2/3 into the season. Has no hits on his card, barely. Has hits against lefty pitchers. Somewhat of a hit at 44, 55, and 66, but that's it. Most of his hits are just lucky hits. Let's see what happens here. The pitch and a 56 will be strike three, and that ends the inning. But the game is tied with 2 runs on 3 hits, and we go to the top of the second inning. All right, we're going to the top of the second inning. Score is tied at 2. It's going to be Mark Parent, Gary Templeton, and Dennis Rasmussen. 52, that's going to be an error check, but that 14 is really high. It's to the left fielder. So a fly out to left, and Hatcher, we look at him. And left field, Hatcher is where is Hatcher? He's at the bottom of the line. I'm sorry. Yeah, Hatcher is an error of 2, so he'll make a nice running catch for the first out of the top of the second. Here's Gary Templeton. Pitch from Browning, a 45, and that's a fly ball. He is a fly ball pitcher, and that will be a fly out center field. And who's out there? That is Eric Davis. 2 away. Pitcher Rasmussen. Pitch from Browning, and a 62 is a ground ball to second base. Duncan sidearms it to first, and that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Billy Hatcher leading off the bottom of the second. Here's the pitch, and that's a 66. That's going to be down the line, and fair ball. Goes into the corner, and Hatcher, with good speed, easily around to second, makes a nice turn. A healthy turn, but decides to go back to second. So now it's Tom Browning. He's going to swing away with a runner at second base. The pitch, 64, and that'll be bounced to first base. That will allow Hatcher to move. So a productive out by the pitcher, Tom Browning. And a runner on third now. And with 1 out, we're going to play the infield in here. With no outs, I'd probably let the run score. But with only 1 on base, I can go either way on this. So let's see. Chris Sabo, infield is in. Then it's Rasmussen the pitch, and that's a 12, which will be a fly ball center field. And with a runner on third, it says hold unless he's F, and Hatcher is F, so he can risk it. The center fielder is Joe Carter, and Carter's arm is an A, so he's going to try to tag up, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3. He is out. 3, 4, 5, 6. He is safe. And here's the throw from Carter. The tag at the plate, and he is out. Double play, so it's going to be an 8, 8, 2 DP, and that'll end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left, and we move to the top of the third. All right, we're in the top of the third now. Scores 2-2. It's Bip Roberts, the top of the order for the Padres. Bip Roberts, Roberto Alomar, and Tony Gwynn, the Tony Gwynn. Pitch from Browning, 52, and that's strike 3. Got him. Bip strikes out. And here's Roberto Alomar, who lined out to the third baseman, and the 26 is bounced up the middle, and base hit. Gets by the diving shortstop Larkin, who has tremendous range. Next is Tony Gwynn, and there goes the runner, and that's a 7 hit and run, and that's going to be a fly ball center field. Racing in is Eric Davis, and he makes a catch. Back to first goes Alomar, and 2 outs now, run around first, and here's Jack Clark, the pitch from Browning, and that's a 56, strike 3, and that ends the inning. So no runs, a hit, 1 left, a couple of strikeouts for Browning. We go to the bottom of the third. Mariano Duncan leads off against Rasmussen with a 62, and that's a fly ball to right. Gwynn under it for the first out. Next is Barry Larkin, the pitch, and a 36 will be a fly ball to center field in the gap, and running it down is Joe Carter. Got a good read on that ball and turned on the jets and was able to catch up to it. Next is Eric Davis. 2 outs, nobody on. The pitch to Eric, 46 and 11. And the thing about Cincinnati Reds Riverfront Stadium is that it has a big, a very small foul territory. Most balls become foul balls, so that's in the stands. We roll again. Pitch from Rasmussen, a 31. That's bounced up the middle, and that's through for a base hit. So a hard hit grounder that gets through the infield. A 2-out single for Eric Davis, and here comes Glenn Braggs. He's a guy who's really struggled getting base hits, has a good card. You see, he's the opposite of Joe Oliver, who has a terrible card and does nothing but get hits. Glenn Braggs has a good card and barely can pick up a hit, so that's just the luck of the dice. So here's Rasmussen, checks in with Parent. He sets and deals the pitch, and that's a 26, and that is line base hit. That is ripped to left off the bat of Braggs, who hits lefties very well. And runner with 2 outs against an A-arm. A-arm in left field. Bip Roberts is a S-arm, so no, they will not advance. They're not gonna challenge Bip Roberts' arm in left field. He's got an S-arm. Wow. So first and second with 2 outs, and here comes Todd Benzinger. Todd Benzinger is a switch hitter, batting about 250. He was a 250 hitter, so he's around there. And so he'll be batting righty against the lefty Rasmussen. And here's the pitch. And that's going to be a 42. That's ball 4. That's going to load. Oh, yep, that's going to load the bases. Bases are loaded with Reds. And here comes Joe Oliver. I call him Lucky Joe because he does nothing but show up in the big opportunities. Hit a 3-run homer the other night in another game. And here he is with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Joe Oliver batting, I think, about 312, 310. He's a 230 hitter. Has no hits on his card except for a couple of splits hits and a couple of very, very high double hits like 66, 55, and 44. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be a 35, and that is a base hit. What did I tell you? That is one of those off the pitcher card. And blah, 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 blah. 1 run scores. That's Davis, followed by Braggs, and going to third will be Benzinger. So it's a 4-2 lead now for the Reds. A huge 2-run single by Lucky Joe Oliver, who's always at the right place at the right time. So it's first and third now. And it's going to be Billy Hatcher. Pitch from Rasmussen. And that's going to be a fly ball to left field. Towards the line is Bip Roberts. He makes the catch and that retires the side. So 2 runs come in on 3 hits and a walk. They leave a couple. We go to the top of the 4th. All right, we're in the top of the 4th inning. It's Joe Carter, Eddie Williams, and Mark Parent. Score is 4-2 Reds. Big 2-out 2-run single by Lucky Joe Oliver. Here is Joe Carter, bats from the right side against Tom Brown in the lefty to pitch, and that's a 24. Hit by pitch. No. It's a ground ball to short. Larkin up with it, fires the first in time. 1 down. Next batter is Eddie Williams with a 36, and that's lifted to center field. Over is Eric Davis under and squeezes it for out number 2. Here's Mark Parent, and he is the catcher for the Padres. Here's the pitch from Browning. A 64 will be a fly ball again to in the gap. Running it down is Davis. 3 up and 3 down. Easy inning for Tom Browning. And he leads off the bottom of the 4th. 4-2 Reds. Reds are going for their 15th win. Here's the pitch. And that is a strikeout. Rasmussen gets him with the fastball. Here's Sabo. Sabo reached on an error and then hit into a double play in the air. And that's line base hit. And he's going to try for 2. And here's the throw. And he is safe. Double for Sabo with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. And we're thinking about pulling the pitcher here. We have a bunch of pitchers set aside. Who do we have up? A righty? Let's see what we got here. We got a righty. Greg Harris could come in. And he's going to be better. So we're finally pulling Rasmussen, because I just have a bad feeling about him. And we're going to go with Greg Harris. Going to roll 1 die, see what kind of stuff Harris will have. Ooh, he'll have his C stuff. Still better than Rasmussen. We needed his A stuff, but so be it. All right. So Harris is in there facing Duncan with a runner on second, and here's the pitch from Greg Harris. 26, and against a lefty. We got lucky there. Lucky we brought in the righty, because the lefty would have been a hit. Otherwise, it's a fly ball to right, and I think he will tag up on this. Runner on second, fly ball to right. He does tag up, unless he's slow, and he is not. So he will tag up, go to third. F9, that's 2 away. And now it's Barry Larkin. Larkin today is 1 for 2 with a single in the first and a fly out in the third. Here's the pitch. And that's a 36, which will be a ground ball to short. Scooped up by the shortstop, Templeton, over to first. And that retires the side. All right, as you can see, the score's 4-2. Reds with 4 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. The Padres with two runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. And leading off here is Gary Templeton in the top of the 5th inning. Here's the pitch, and that's a 66. That's going to be a drive in the gap. That's going to split the outfielders and roll to the wall. Digging for second is Templeton, and he's in there easily ahead of the throw. Pitcher Harris did we pull a double switch? No. 5th inning. So Harris is going to bunt here, and he may have his own card. He may have his own card because he had 117 innings pitched. So let's see if he has his own card. Regardless, he's going to bunt. They know he's going to bunt, so they're going to play the infield in. And what I do is I subtract 1 in the bunt opportunity. There's another kind of rule, but I kind of make my own. It's just easier for me to mentally engage with it. Yeah, I don't see Harris has a card, but he's going to bunt anyway, and that's a pretty standard number, so I'm not going to waste my time looking for it. I'm going to roll 2d6 and see what happens, and that's going to be, the 5. He comes down to a 4. Strike 3 and gets him. Fouls it off. Squares on with 2 strikes and fouls it off for a strikeout. So Harris fails to do his job here and move the runner to third. Bip Roberts now with 1 out and 1 on. Pitch from Browning, and that's going to be a 25, which will be a ground ball to third. They'll hold the runner. So Sable looks over at second, keeps Templeton close, throws to first, and here's 2 outs and Alomar. Roberto Alomar was 1 for 2. Alomar batted .287. Here's a pitch from Browning, and that's going to be a 45, which will be lifted to center field. Davis under it. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Eric Davis leads off against Greg Harris. And a 54, we're going to look at that, and that's going to talk about the catcher. And he's away. So let's see what rating. This is like a framing rating. He's an N, which says if he is away, an N gets a home end gets strike 3, and away end gets ball 4. So that will be ball 4. Davis is on. Fails to convince the umpire that that's a strike. So here's Glenn Braggs, the pitch. He's got a couple of hits today, but won't have one here. He checks his swing. They check with the first base umpire. He went around, and Braggs does not like it. Has something to say, muttering, and does not like it, looking over at first base. And he better head back to the bench. Out comes the manager to bring him back in. Here's Todd Benzinger now. He's a switch hitter, bats from the left side of the pitch, and that's a 35, which will be a ground ball. He's batting from the left side, so it'll be a ground ball to first. Runner will move up. Taking it himself is Clark. So Davis goes to second base. He's in scoring position. Here comes Lucky Joe Oliver, who had that big single with the bases loaded to give the Reds a 4-2 lead. He's up again here with a runner in scoring position. See what happens. The pitch from Harris, and that is a 51, which is going to be an error check on the first baseman. First baseman is Jack Clark, and Jack Clark has a 7 error, so that will be an error. And that may end up being a single and an error because it's on the exotic chart. So we have to look at the exotic chart with a runner at first. Let's see. So this is Lucky Joe. Lucky Joe always gets a break. Let's see the exotic chart. Here it is with a runner at first base. We will roll. So it's an error on the first baseman. Let's see what happens. We didn't have to. All we have to do, we don't have to roll. We just have to look at there's a runner on first base. No, second base, excuse me. Real bad throw to first by the first baseman. Pitcher covering. Runner scores. Batter to second. F batter to third. So it's going to be an E3, a 2-base error on the... So it's a ground ball to first base. He throws over the pitcher's head. Coming around to score is Davis. Going to second is Oliver. And the score is 5-2 now. Here's Billy Hatcher. And they're going to walk Billy Hatcher intentionally to pitch to the Tom Browning. Hatcher batted, I think, 275. Browning is a .093 hitter. Pitch a 32, and that'll be a bounce. A number in front of the plate. Parent up on top of it, gets an angle and throws him out. So 1 run comes in on no hits. That error really helped him out. And really helped out the Reds here to score that run. And we go to the top of the 6th inning. All right, the Reds lead it 5-8-0 for the Reds, 2-5-2 for the Dodgers. Here's Tony Gwynn. He steps in the box. He is a left-handed hitter. He's 1 for 2 today with a run scored. Tom Browning winds and deals. On deck, you have Jack Clark. That's a 22. That's line base hit to right. Played on a hop by the right fielder, Glenn Braggs, to hold Gwynn to a single. And Jack Clark is up next with Joe Carter on deck and Eddie Williams in the hole. Tom Browning here in the top of the 6th inning has been pitching fairly well. Had a little trouble in that first inning, a little shaky when he gave up 3 hits and a couple of runs on a 2-run dinger by Jack Clark. But since then, he's only given up 3 hits and has not walked anyone. So Jack Clark is at the plate. He's got good power, hit 25 home runs, scores 5-2 Reds. Reds trying for their 15th consecutive victory. And here's the pitch to Jack Clark, and that's going to be a 16, which is strike 3. Got him looking. Jack Clark. Good movement on that. Tom Browning slider. And next is Joe Carter, another one that has good power, hit 24 home runs. And Browning shakes off the sign from Oliver, now likes what he sees, to the belt. The pitch, and that's a 41. That's ball 4. He walks him, loses him. And Carter trots down to first base. That's going to bring the tying run to the plate in Eddie Williams. Eddie Williams, a right-handed hitter who played in this game. These are actual lineups. Otherwise, I would never get him in. I mean, he did bat 286. He was 12 for 42, but he played in these games. I don't know if he was traded or he got injured and he went back down to the minors. I don't know, but batted 286 with 3 doubles and 3 home runs in 42 at bats. So he's got power for sure, no doubt about that. So Tom Browning should proceed with caution here. Top of the 6th, the Padres trail by 3. And there's 2 men on, and Eddie Williams with good power at the plate. And here's the pitch, and that is a 42, which will be popped up by the mound. And it's the third baseman and catcher. It's Sabo and Oliver makes the catch. P2 for the second out. Mark Parent, or parental permission, is up, and he's 0 for 2 today. The pitch from Browning, and that's going to be trouble, and that's going to drop in, and that's going to score 1 run. It may score 2. Let's see. Joe Carter, I believe Joe Carter is fast. He is fast. We're going to have to check and see the base advancement on this, and there will be a play at the plate. There will be a play at the plate by the center fielder Davis. Let's see what kind of assist rating he has. And here is the relay. And let's see what happens. Here's the play at the plate. And he is safe. So 2-run score on a 2-out 2-run double by Mark Parent. And it's a 5-4 ball game now here in the top of the 6th with Gary Templeton coming up. And we will pitch to Templeton, a 248 hitter. We don't want to walk. We just don't want to. Then we would get Harris out of the game. If we walk Templeton intentionally, we get Harris out of the game for sure. Harris still has a way to go. 1, 2, 6, 8. He would still pitch the next inning. He is probably the toughest. Not great, but probably one of the more tougher pitchers. Lilliquist is not good, and Rodriguez is not good, and Davis, I have him somewhere. Not sure how good he is, but Greg Harris is probably my best pitcher. So we're gonna, but this would put the go-ahead run on base, and we don't want to do that. We're gonna pitch to Templeton. So it's going to be Browning to Templeton. I'm not going to the bullpen here. I'm going to show Browning some trust and confidence, and hopefully he can get us through this inning. And here's the pitch to Gary Templeton, and that is going to be an out, a fly ball, center field in the gap. After it is Davis, and Davis makes the catch. So 2 runs come in on a couple of hits, a big 2-run double by Mark Parent. And here is 5-4. The score would go to the bottom of the 6th. All right, Greg Harris going for his third inning of work, the best pitcher so far that we have on this staff. And he's pitching here in the bottom of the sixth inning. The score is 5-4. Big two-run double by Mark Parent in the top of the sixth. Has basically gotten the Padres within one run. Chris Sabo, Mariano Duncan, and Barry Larkin. Sabo today is hit into some tough luck with a fly ball double play, but after that he doubled in the fourth, so he's back on track. Here is the pitch from Greg Harris, and that's a 55, and that's going to be a drive down the line, fair ball, and digging for two is Sabo. The throw comes in late. It's a leadoff double. Mariano Duncan is up next. Duncan today is 1 for 3 with a 2-run dinger. He hit 10 home runs, 11 triples, and 22 doubles in that 1990 World Series season for the Reds. And here's the pitch from Greg Harris to Duncan, and that's a 33. That's line, base hit. Let's see if a run will come in. And he does score. RBI single, the third RBI of the day for Mariano Duncan. They wave Sabo, who's got good speed. They wave him around, and here's Larkin. So Greg Harris has reached his limit of batter's face. So one more base runner, and we have to pull him. So here's Larkin with one out. Now Larkin's a good hit and run guy, and we're going to try that. There goes the runner, and it's a 12. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. A 12 is going to be a line drive fly to right. This could end up being a double play. If we roll a 211 or 12, it's going to be a double play. Okay, here goes. So Duncan trying to get back to first. Will he make it? And he does. So it's a fly out to right. That was exciting. Eric Davis now. 1 on and 1 out. Score is 6-4. The Reds trying for their 15th victory. The crowd has quieted down. See if we can find them.
I absolutely recommend Sensodyne sensitivity.
That's not them. So let's get the crowd going here, and Eric Davis is the batter. Eric Davis today is 1 for 2 with a couple of runs scored. There they are. All right. Davis, pitch from Harris. And that's going to be a 42, ball 4, and that's going to be it for Harris. Braggs is coming to bat. He's 2 for 3 today, having a good day. There's runners on first and second with 1 out. We're going to the bullpen, and we're going to bring in Lilliquist can go. Oh, Lilliquist can really go here. So we're going to bring in Derek Lilliquist. Going to roll for him, and he will be a B. He's a lefty, so he gets a modifier. And we're going to set him up with these Post-its, so it makes it a little bit easier for me to read. And we're ready to go. Lilliquist versus Braggs. Here's a pitch, and that's a 43, which will be a 1-16 base on balls, and it's a 12. That's ball 4. That loads the bases. So Lilliquist loses them. And the bases are loaded for Todd Benzinger, who's a switch hitter. Benzinger today's 0 for 2 with a walk. Lilliquist checks in with Parent. Sets and deals. Infield is going to be brought in on the grass, 63, and that's going to be some sort of an out. That is line to center field. With this, will this get a run in? We have to look at that 10 result with the 3, and it does get they're going to tag up, and scoring is Duncan. So that will be a 3 is a fly out to center field, sacrifice fly, 8 RBI. and the score is 7-4 now. I will update the score on the scoreboard after this inning. And 2 away. Here's Joe Oliver. Lucky Joe is 1 for 3 today. Should get another hit here. And a 43 will be a base on ball, so he walks. And here's Billy Hatcher. Billy Hatcher always trouble. Pitch, and that's a 46 and a 3. That's going to be trouble. That's going to split the outfielders and roll. Oh, no, wait a second. No park home run. That's going to be a caught by the center fielder to end the inning. Boy, all right, lucky I saw that at the end. So 2 runs on 2 hits, 3 walks. Bases, they leave the bases loaded, and we go to the top of the 7th inning. All right, we had a triple switch, if you will, in that bottom of the 6th inning that I'm mentioning now. It was Bip Roberts. He went to third base from left field, and replacing in the pitcher spot is going to be Sean Abner. He'll play left field, while Eddie Williams is going to get pulled for the pitcher now, Lilliquist, in that spot. So leading off here, the top of the 7th inning, the score is 7-4 Reds. The Reds trying for their 15th consecutive victory. It will be Sean Abner. Tom Browning is still in the game. I don't know for how much longer. I don't know what he has left in the tank. We'll see what happens here against Sean Abner. But there's a couple of arms warming up in the bullpen for sure. Here's the pitch. And that's a 23, and that's a check swing. They check with the first base umpire. He went around, he rings him up, and Tom Browning is happy about that. Sean Abner, not so much. Next is Bip Roberts. He steps to the box, and he's 0 for 3 today. Switch hitter batting from the right side against Tom Browning, and the pitch, and that's a 22. That's a line base hit. And there goes Bip Roberts, and he is safe with a stolen base. Throw it down from Oliver, not in time. So here's Alomar now. It looks like we're going to go to the bullpen. All right, we got a couple of changes. Benzinger's out. New pitcher is Rob Dibble. He's going to be facing Alomar and then Gwynn with 1 out here and a runner on second. Tying run right now is on deck, Tony Gwynn, if Alomar gets on. And Quinones is going to play first base. He's going to take the pitcher spot, who's due next. And then, of course, Todd Benzinger is out. So let's do it. Rob Dibble, he's a B pitcher right now. And it's the top of the 7th with 1 out. He's going to face Roberto Alomar, switch hitter back from the left side. Here's the pitch. 66, and that's trouble. That's going to be off the wall. Scoring easily is Roberts. RBI double for Alomar, and the score is 7-5. Again, the Reds trying for that 15th consecutive victory, but the Padres are giving it, not making it easy. They're giving them a run for their money. Tony Gwynn now, always dangerous. Tony Gwynn against Rob Dibble. That's from the left side. He's a contact guy. So Dibble is going to lose all these strikeouts in the 60s. 61, 62, 63, 64. He'll be able to get them in the 30s. 34, 35, and 36. See what happens. Here's the pitch. That's going to be a 52. It's going to be an error check on the pitcher, and Dibble made no errors. So he will play that with a strong arm. Alomar will hold at second base. So that's 2 outs. And here comes Jack Clark. Score is 7-5. It says 7-4 on the board, but it is 7-5. I'll correct that after this inning. Jack Clark is 1 for 3 with a 2-run homer in the first. Struck out in the 3rd and the 6th. So he's got good power against Dibble. He is the tying run right now. The Reds trying for their 15th consecutive victory. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of pressure. Here's a pitch from Dibble. And that's a 51. That's going to be an error check with a 5. Struck him out. Blows a fastball by Clark and strikes him out for the 3rd time. 1 run comes in on 2 hits. And we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch. All right, so it's bottom of the seventh. It's going to be Quinones leading off. He came in on a double switch in the top of the seventh. Score 7-5. Cincinnati trying for its 15th straight. So the pressure is on, believe it or not. It is bring your dog to the ballpark day, so you may hear some barking in the background. Just giving you a heads up on that. Luis Quinones is up. He plays all over the infield. Played a little first base, not too much. A little second base, a little third base, a little shortstop. Utility type guy. Played 83 games, only 145 at bats. So here's a pitch, and it's a 36 Lilliquist. 36 is a blank. On Lilliquist is an out. It's slipped it to center. Under it is, who's out there? Carter, and that's the first out of the inning. Chris Sabo up next. Chris Sabo today hit a couple of doubles, and he's 2 for 4. Hit into a double play in the second inning. Fly out to the center fielder, and Carter threw out Billy Hatcher at the plate on an attempted score on a sac fly. And here's Sabo, the pitch from Lilliquist. And that is a 52. So it's going to be an error check with a 20. And that's going to be a ball that's handled by the second baseman, Alomar, over to first, 2 away. And here's Mariano Duncan. Duncan is 2 for 4 today with a 2-run homer in the first and an RBI single in the sixth. So he's having a good day. He's a right-handed hitter. A pitch, and that is a snake eyes, which is a line drive base hit left field. So a 2-out single for Mariano Duncan. And on that 11, he's going to get a plus sign, so he's going to try to get a lead, and there he goes, a throw down from Parent, and he is safe. Stolen base for Duncan. He's in scoring position now for Barry Larkin. Barry Larkin, right-handed hitter. He's 1 for 4 today. Got a strong bat, batting I think 295 or so. Larkin hit not a lot of power, hit 7 home runs. He's a -5 at the 65. That's the only place you'll see him potentially hit a home run. But he can hit one here off Lilliquist. Let's see what happens. Runner on second. We need those insurance runs. The Reds are only up by 2 runs, and that can change with basically a walk and a bloop and a blast can change that and tie the game up. So we want some insurance runs here. This would be a great opportunity for Barry Larkin to contribute to this crazy 14 in a row so far. We're looking for 15. Here's a pitch. And that is a 12, which will be a base on balls 1-9. But no, he skies one center field. Joe Carter under it, and that retires the side. No runs. 1 hit, 1 left. And we go to the top of the 8th. All right, top of the 8th, Joe Carter steps to the plate against Rob Dibble. He pitched out of trouble in that 7th inning and was able to pick up 2 outs to prevent a bigger inning. Gave up a double, though, to Roberto Alomar, and that drove in a run. And here's Joe Carter. Carter today is 1 for 2 with a walk and run scored. Here's the pitch from Rob Dibble. That's a 26, and that is a lefty single, but against a righty, it's a ground ball to third. Sabo up with it. Strike to first for the first out of the inning. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Score 7-5. Reds going for their 15th consecutive victory. The pitcher spot, so Lilliquist, they're going to call him back. We're going to see a pinch hitter. All right, so it's Fred Lynn who's going to get called on, and he's a long-time Boston Red Sox. And I think he went over to the California Angels for a couple of years as well. In 1990, this is the end of his career. He only plays in 90 games, 196 at-bats. Hit 6 home runs, batted .240. But he's going to bat here as a left-handed hitter versus Rob Dibble. And we're ready to roll here. Dibble looks in for the sign. 1 out, nobody on, top of the 8th. The Reds, trying for their 15th straight, lead it 7-5. And here's the pitch from Dibble. That's a 55. That's going to be trouble. That's going to be line base hit to right. Played on a hop by the right fielder Glenn Braggs. He gets it in to Mariano Duncan, and Fred Lynn is on there with a base knock. Next up is going to be Mark Parent. Parent today, he's had a good day. He drove in a couple of runs with a double in the 6th inning. But the tying run is at the plate now, and Mark Parent, Rob Dibble, is going to have to bear down a little bit. He doesn't want to allow this game to be tied up. And here's the pitch from Dibble. And that's a 31. That's going to be a bouncing ball up the middle, and that is caught by the shortstop. No, second baseman. And that's going to be a fielder's choice. And that will stop. We'll get the runner at second base. We'll prevent the runner from getting to scoring position. And next is Gary Templeton now. And we're just checking. Yep, fielder's choice. And so a nice play by Mariano Duncan, and it's Gary Templeton. Here's the pitch. 2 outs, 1 on. And that's going to be a 66. That's a drive in the gap. That's going to split the outfielders. This may be a run. It's the 8th inning. We may hold them up. We'll see what it says. Fast runner. Parent is not a fast runner, so he will hold up. And that's going to put the tying runs in scoring position. Yikes, Gary Templeton drives one, a fastball, into the gap. And they're going to hold up Parent, not risk trying to score him here. No need. They need 2 runs, so both of them are in scoring position. And Abner's up. Sean Abner, a right-hander. We will let Dibble face Sean Abner. San Diego knows that if we go to a left-handed batter, they're going to bring in Randy Myers, and we want to avoid Randy Myers at all costs. Sean Abner batted .245 with 1 home run and 9 doubles in 184 at-bats, played 91 games for the San Diego Padres. 24-year-old. That's right-handed. He has good speed. So Templeton is an A, so he has average speed at this point. We're not going to replace him. And a single here could tie the ball game up at 7 apiece, and I wouldn't be surprised. Here's Rob Dibble. Here's the pitch. And that is a 14, which will be a bouncer to short, picked up by Larkin over to first, and that retires the side. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left, and we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. So Eric Davis now leads off in the bottom of the 8th. Score is 7-5. It's 7-11-0 for the Reds and 5-10-2. The scoreboard I have to adjust it. I'll adjust it in a minute. Eric Davis leads off against Craig Lefferts. Lefferts is an A. We already rolled for him. Here's his pitch. And that's going to be a 45, which will be a line drive and caught by the third baseman. So it's ripped down the line, but the third baseman was positioned perfectly. All right, so it's Glenn Braggs against the... This is the closer for the Padres, but since we're away and it's a close game, at home you would use him. Away you would probably wait. But in this case, I just brought out my best to see if we can hold them and we can come back. And then I had Rich Rodriguez in the bullpen, but I just went a different way. Anyway, let's roll for Glenn Braggs. Here's a pitch, and that's going to be a 52, so it's going to be an error check. It's going to be an error check. 52 is on a right fielder, and that is Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn chases the ball down for out number 2. And now it's the pitcher's up. So this is where we're going to bring in a pinch hitter. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? It is going to be... he's a lefty, so we're going to go with Ronnie Oster. We're going to call on Ronnie Oster to pick up a bat. It's a switch hitter. Now, Oster was an everyday player. He was a part-time player. Played 64. Actually, the games that he started, it seems that he played the games that he started. He played 64 games, had 160 at-bats. More like a part-time guy. All right, so it's going to be Ron Oster comes in to bat for Dibble. And here's a pitch from Craig Lefferts. And that's a 16, struck him out, and that retires the side. So this is last licks. Last licks for the Padres. All right, 7-5 Reds, top of the ninth. It's going to be Bip Roberts, Roberto Alomar, and Tony Gwynn. Randy Myers, the left-handed flamethrower for the Reds. He's got K's up and down his card everywhere. And Bip Roberts is a switch hitter. He'll be batting from the right side against the lefty Myers. And here's the pitch. And that is a 31. That is a bouncer up the middle and through into center field for a base hit. So that'll bring the tying run to the plate now. And Roberto Alomar hit 6 home runs. Not a lot of power. So Roberts gets on. Hard ground ball through the legs of Randy Myers. Past the diving Larkin, who can cover a lot of ground at shortstop. And center fielder Eric Davis throws it in. So Roberts is on at first, and Randy Myers looks over. Sets and deals to Alomar, and here's the pitch. And that is a 35. Struck him out. Big K for Randy Myers here. 1 away now. So the Reds are 2 outs away from their 15th in a row. Let's see if they can hold on. Tony Gwynn, always trouble. Excellent hit and run. And I think that's what we're going to do right here. We're going to send the runner. And there goes Roberts. Here's the pitch. And that is a base hit. That'll send Roberts to third. So Gwynn, the master, hit the ball right through the vacant spot. The shortstop went over to cover, and Tony Gwynn pushed it right through that hole for a base hit. And that sends, and Bip Roberts goes to third. So it's first and third. The tying runs are on base for Jack Clark. Jack Clark has a ton of power, hit 25 home runs. And here's the pitch from Randy Myers. That's going to be a 24, which is a hit by pitch, but not with an 8. So that's going to be lifted to center field. Easy pickings for the center fielder, Eric Davis, 2 away. And here comes Joe Carter. Now Joe Carter's coming up with the tying runs on base in 7-5 Reds. Joe Carter today is 1 for 3 with a run scored. He walked in the 6th inning. And Carter hit 24 home runs, so he's got some power. Only batted .232. Randy Myers checks in with Oliver for the sign. And he sets and deals, and the pitch. And that's a 46. Oh, boy, that could have been trouble. That could have been a ballpark. And a 13, it's Cincinnati. There's a lot of there's no foul territory here. So that's going to be in the stands. So this is going to give Joe Carter a second opportunity here. Randy Myers looks in for the sign to the belt and deals. And that's a 31. That's a bouncing ball, and that's through for a base hit. That'll score a run, 7-6. Yikes. Let's see if Tony Gwynn will make it to third. And Vance's on a W arm left field. A arm with 2 outs. He will make it to third. So the tying run is at third base. RBI single for Joe Carter. So Randy Myers, usually untouchable, not today. Not when the 15th consecutive victory is on the line. We'll see what happens here. So the tying run is at third base. It's first and third. Carter with good speed at first base. He's F. And it's not Fred Lynn. We're going to have to call on a pinch hitter here. It's going to have to be a right-hander, hopefully. Let's see what happens. All righty, here we are in the top of the ninth, 2 outs. And it's Darren Jackson who's going to pinch hit for the for Lefferts, Craig Lefferts, and score is 7-6. Reds, they're 1 out away from winning their 15th consecutive game. The main issue, of course, is that the tying run is at third base. Tony Gwynn at first base. It's Joe Carter, and he's got good speed. So this is a tense moment for the Reds here. They could tie it up, and they could also take the lead here in the top of the ninth, and that would put a lot of pressure on the Reds. So let's see what happens. Crowd is into it for sure.
Hey, I'm Caleb. This is Rudy. Let's take.
Crowd is definitely into it. All right, let's do it. Here's a pitch. Darren Jackson, the right-hander, he batted .257 with 3 home runs and 113 at-bats against Randy Myers, who's dominant this season. I think he leads the majors in saves in my replay. And here it is. Here's the pitch. And that is line base hit. And the game is tied. Holy smokes. 7-7. I knew it. I knew it. And what happens to the runner at first? He is F, so he will go to third, first and third. They have the go-ahead run at third base now. Holy smokes. Darren Jackson comes up huge against Randy Myers. Yikes. This game, my friends, is tied at 7 apiece, and here's Mark Parent. Parent today is 1 for 4 with a 2-run double in the 6th inning. And here's the pitch from Randy Myers. You can at least get out of the inning. And that's going to be a 61, and that's strike 3, and that'll end the inning. But the damage has been done. 2 runs come in, tying the game at 7. On 1, 2, 3, 4, the big hit was by the pinch hitter, Darren Jackson. And we have a new pitcher here for the Padres. Oliver's coming up, followed by Hatcher and Quinones. So let's see who we're going to grab. All right, so it's going to be right-hander John Davis coming in. He pitched in 6 games for the Padres and had 9 innings pitched, struck out 7, 1.4 whip. And he will face Oliver, Hatcher, and then Quinones. Now his card is on the screen. I don't have an actual card because I didn't bother to print it out. I'll probably never see the guy again. So here is the pitch to Joe Oliver. Let me write him in. Davis. He is an A pitcher, and he comes in the bottom of the 10th. Wow. Oliver, Lucky Joe, and he is ball 4. He walks. So Joe's on at first. We're going to bring in Winningham to run. Winningham is a fast runner, PRX. So we got a pinch runner, and Billy Hatcher, who's a good contact guy, is going to hit and run. And there goes Winningham. Oh, that's a 12. That's fly ball to right. This could be a double play. 12, 11, and 2 is a double play. And, oh, no. So it's a fly ball to right. Runner back to first. Luis Quinones is next. That's a snake eyes, and that'll be an out of 14. Is a bouncer to second base. That'll be a fielder's choice, because the second baseman, Alomar, is 14, is not going to give you a double play unless he has a strong arm. I know it goes to the shortstop, and the shortstop does not have a strong arm. Templeton has an average arm, so that's going to be a 4-6 fielder's choice. And Quinones is on a first now. He's a slow runner. Not going to pinch run for him at this point. Reed is going to be my new catcher. And it's Chris Sable. Chris Sable. Let's turn this guy over so we know to look on the screen. Here's a pitch. And that is a 31, a bouncer up the middle, and that's a base hit. So let's see if he will hold at second base. So it's first and second. The winning run is in scoring position. A double here will score him. A single? I don't know. See what happens. Tied at 7. The Reds are trying to win their 15th game in a row. And they were winning 7-5 going into the top of the 9th inning, but it was 4 singles that tied the game up at 7 off their star closer, Randy Myers. The big hit came from pinch hitter Darren Jackson. And here is Mariano Duncan. Duncan today is has 3 hits. He's 3 for 5. See if he can make it his 4th. Here's a pitch. And that's going to be a 23 strike 3, and that ends the inning. So no runs, a hit, 2 left, and we go to the top of the 10th inning. All right, we're going to let Myers go a couple of batters. He's pitched to 7 batters. He can go 8 until he allows a base runner. But we're going to let him just go a batter or 2. Here's Gary Templeton leading off the top of the 10th inning. Yeah, because that was that was the bottom of the 9th, that last inning. So now we're in the top of the 10th. Here's the pitch. And that's a 33. That is ripped to center for a single, and Templeton's on at first. He is an A runner, so he's good. Sean Abner, not a good pinch hit and run guy, but he's a good bunter. So we're going to bunt with him, and it's a good bunt to the third baseman. Over to first. 5-4. Runner advances to second base, so you have the go-ahead run in scoring position now for the top of the order. And Bip Roberts, switch hitter against Randy Myers. Randy Myers is not the closer that we know. Here's the pitch. And that's a 32, and that's going to be that's going to be a pop-up near the mound. Catcher calls for it, and that's 2 away. And next is Roberto Alomar. And hold on. All right, so Myers' spot is coming up next inning, so we're going to try to get him to go through this next bat of this lad. There's 2 outs. Runner in scoring position, Roberto Alomar. Alomar today is 2 for 5, so let's see if Myers can get him out. Here's the pitch, and that is a potential error on the center fielder. Center fielder is Davis, and that's going to be way too high for Davis. His error rating in center field is a 2, so he'll make a running catch, and that retires the side. So no runs, a hit, 1 left, and we go to the bottom of the 10th inning. It's going to be Larkin, Davis, and Braggs, the heart of the order. Let's see what happens. And then batting coming up 4th would be, of course, the Randy Myers spot, and we'll see a pinch hitter for them. And then it's probably going to be a guy named Layana coming in. So let's do it. John Davis. Okay, so this game is tied. We are in the bottom of the 10th inning. It's San Diego, 7 runs, 16 hits and 2 errors. And the Reds, 7 runs, 12 hits and no errors. And Barry Larkin leads it off against John Davis. Let's do it. John Davis is an A, by the way. Here's the pitch, and that is a 16, which will be bounced to short. Scooped up by Templeton, fires to first, and gets Larkin for the first out. Here is Eric Davis now. And that is a 44. That's going to be ripped for a single to center field, cut off by center fielder Joe Carter. So he's on at first. Here's Glenn Braggs. Let me see if we have pinch hitters. We're down to, you know what? We're going to bring in Paul O'Neill to pinch hit here. So Paul O'Neill's going to come in. And I only got 3 guys left on the bench. I got, you know who's going to come in? I'm going to bring in the best hitter on my team, Hal Morris. So Hal Morris is coming in. And then Morris will play, Bragg is in right field. Here's my left fielder. My left fielder is Hatcher. Can Hatcher play right field? Hatcher cannot, so we'll see what we do. We may have to put Davis. Can Davis play right field? No. Alright, so we're going to bring in Morris. We're going to put Morris at first base. That's what we'll do. We'll figure it out. So Hal Morris is coming in to pinch hit. It's tied at 7 here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Pinch hitter in the 10th. Let's do it. Hal Morris, who's probably the best hitter. He batted .340 in 1990 for the Reds. Had 300 at bats. All right, so here goes. Here's the pitch from John Davis. And that's, I thought it was going to be a 66, and that's going to be a 64, which will be strike 3. Got him. Went after a high fastball, so Morris strikes out. 2 down now, with Davis on at first base. Pitcher spot, and we're going to see a pinch hitter. It's going to be O'Neill. Paul O'Neill, pinch hitter, is coming in. So that leaves me with one last player on the bench. Well, I did everything I could to both win this game for the Reds and to win this game for the Padres. The Padres are in a similar situation if you look at my scorecard. Very similar. All right, O'Neill here. With Davis on at first. O'Neill, not a great hitter, .250 hitter. And let's update the... All right, it's Paul O'Neill running on first, 2 outs. Pitch from John Davis. And that's going to be a 52, and struck him out. Back-to-back Ks for John Davis. So no runs, a hit, 1 left, and we go to the top of the 11th inning. Wow, what a game. Tony Gwynn leads off. New pitcher coming up. All right, it's Tim Layana who's coming in. He'll be facing Tony Gwynn. And Gwynn today's got 3 singles. He's 3 for 5. Here's a pitch to Gwynn. Always a dangerous hitter, a 36. That'll be grounded to second base. Up with it is Duncan, and throws out Gwynn for the first out. Here comes Jack Clark. Jack Clark, and he's got tons of walks. Wow. He ball 4. So Jack Clark walks. He's like a walk machine. Yikes. He'd be a good, perfect to bat second. And so he's on at first, and his speed should be okay. Should be average speed. Oh no, he's slow. Let me see what I got on the bench. Let me see, do I have anybody that can play first base? That's my question. Pagliarulo can play third. Lampkin plays catcher. We have no more first basemen. Let's see. Roberts can play, does not play first. So I'm going over all the hitters to figure out who can play what. All right, so I made the move. Stevenson's going to come in and pinch run. Otherwise, I get in trouble with my buddy. He says, hey, you never put in any pinch runners. So it's Stevenson. He's going to pinch run. And then he will play first base. Terrible first baseman, by the way. He's a 1W2. Couldn't be any worse. All right, so he's in there at first base. And 1 out, 1 on. Joe Carter, the batter. Carter today is 2 for 4 with a walk and a run scored. Here's the pitch from Liana. And that's going to be a 51 and a 2. Strike 3. Got him looking. Carter heads back to the bench with that strikeout. That's the second out. Here is... Ooh, this is the pitcher spot, I believe. Yes, it is. And we're down to one last pitcher. This is a tough decision again. All right, so it's Pagliarulo is up. And we're going to get to our original scene here. We don't need this scene anymore. There we go. All right, Pagliarulo is up with 2 out. 2 out and 1 on. Tim Liana on the mound. We're running out of space on my table here because we're running out of space on the score sheet. We're in the top of the 11th inning, all tied at 7. The Reds are on the verge of 15 in a row. They were on the verge of 15 in a row. They had a 2-run lead in the 9th, but Randy Myers gave that up. So here's Pagliarulo. Pitch from Liana. And that is a 13, which will be a ground ball. Actually, no, it's lifted to right field. And that is O'Neill out there. Makes the catch, and that retires the side. Wow. Jackson, now you grab one guy on each bench. And we go to the bottom of the 10th. There's going to be a new pitcher. It's going to be Rich Rodriguez. So Rich Rodriguez comes in, and he will have, what kind of stuff will he have? Ooh, he will have his C stuff. No, actually his B stuff, excuse me. His B stuff in the bottom of the 11th. He will face the, he will be facing Reed. I didn't grab Reed. There he is. Jeff Reed will lead off, and he can hit. Jeff Reed can hit. That at 251, not too shabby for a backup catcher. Hit 3 home runs and 175 at bats, about 200 plate appearances. But he's definitely been hitting here in the replay. So it's Rich Rodriguez who will have his B stuff. And let's see what happens. Pitch to Jeff Reed, and that's a 33. That is ball 4. So Reed walks. He's a slow runner, but can't do anything about it. Next is Billy Hatcher. Rich Rodriguez versus Billy Hatcher. Do I bunt here? Well, Quinones is up. Hatcher's not a good bunter. He's a better hit and run guy, but I can't hit and run. The guy's slow, so he's just going to swing away. Pitch from Rodriguez. That's a 26, and that against the lefty is a base hit. Let's see what happens here. Runner will hold. So stopping at second is the slow-footed Reed, Jeff Reed. I believe his name is Jeff. I think I have 10. It's got to go through 10 players to find Jeff Reed. That's right. Okay. And here comes Quinones. So the winning run is at second base now for the Reds. That would be huge. It would be their 15th consecutive victory if Luis Quinones can drive in this run. We'll see what happens. Here's the pitch. And that is a 16. That's a strikeout. Swings and misses at a high fastball. And that's the first out of the inning. Quinones, I could have had him bunting. Maybe I should have had him bunting. But I already have a runner in scoring position. But putting him at third would have probably... Just didn't think of that. I just kind of... Anyway. All right. So it's Mariano. No, it's Sabo who's up. Sabo's up. Let's see if we can find Sabo. Good thing about this game, Fall Classic Baseball, is that you get every player, so you can actually play, you know, using actual lineups for the whole game. In a game like this, you have to kind of really know your players. And so Sabo hits lefties well here with the splits. And Sabo's had quite a day. He's 3 for 6 with 2 doubles. Scored a couple of runs. Has a big chance here. Here's a pitch from Rich Rodriguez. And that's a 33. That's going to be line base hit. This could be the game right here. And from second base, A and S arm risk. The right fielder's arm is Gwynn, so the ball is hit to right. Gwynn and right has an A arm. So, wow, with 1 out, do we hold the runner? Do we hold the runner at third? All right, we're going to hold up the runner at third base. So it's a single by Sabo. They hold up Reed, who does not run well. And he's my second catcher, so I could not pinch run for him. And that's going to bring up Mariano Duncan. Duncan today has 3 hits, including a 2-run homer in the first. He stole the base, got a couple of singles, scored a couple of runs, drove in 3, so he's had a good day. Mariano Duncan versus Rich Rodriguez with the bases loaded. So the winning run for the Reds, the run that will give them 15 in a row, 15 consecutive victories, is on third base with only 1 out. So it could be a sacrifice fly. The infield is going to be brought in here, and everybody's going to be on the grass. Infield is going to be brought in as well. Outfield and infield both brought in to prevent this run from scoring. And let's see, hold on a second. There we go, the crowd is back into it. And here goes. Here's the pitch to Mariano Duncan. Rich Rodriguez checks in with Mark Parent. And he's ready to roll. And that is a drive. A drive to center field, but it's going to come up short. It's going to come up short. And nobody's going to tag up on this. It's a fly ball to center field for Duncan. And it's not deep enough to score the slow-footed catcher, Reed. And that brings us to 2 outs, bases loaded. Bottom of the 11th, Barry Larkin. Larkin today's 1 for 6. Rich Rodriguez, a lefty, has his beast stuff today. Not a great pitcher, but so far he's been doing a great job. Despite having the bases loaded, somehow he's been finding a way to not allow the winning run to score. And he checks in with Parent, shakes him off. Parent goes out to talk to him. Larkin steps out of the box, takes a couple of practice swings. Larkin can hit. He's got to hit here. This is huge. Bases are loaded. Winning run, 90 feet away. Here's the pitch. And that is a 64, which will be a fly ball left field. Under it is Roberts. Nope, Roberts is at third. Under it is the left fielder, Abner. He makes the catch, and that retires the side. Wow. Man, I should have maybe attempted to score Reed. All right, so we go. Tim Layana is going to be facing the bottom of the order for the Padres. Parent, Templeton, and then Abner. Let's see what happens. We're in the top of the 12th inning. So on the top, there were no runs, no hits, 1 left. And the bottom, there were no runs, 2 hits, and 3 left with a walk. All right, here's the pitch to Mark Parent. And that's going to be a 25, which will be in the air to center. Under it is Davis for the first out. One down. All right, so up is Gary Templeton. Pitch from Tim Liana. And that's a 54 check, and that's going to be a fly ball to right. And with that, too, that may be an error. And if it's an exotic error, right field is O'Neill. And O'Neill in right. There's one out. O'Neill in right, and right field is a 2 error. So it will be, I rolled a 2, it will be an error. And it's going to take us to the exotic error chart. That's the only chart you really have to use in this game. Let me grab the book. All right, so nobody's on base. The exotic error reads, so nobody on base. Third base, so it's to the, okay, I see. It's to the outfield, so we're gonna have to roll. We're gonna roll to the outfield, and it's gonna be a 16. A 16 reads single plus error, batted is second. Runners advance 2 bases. F for a runner on first scores. So it's going to be a single and an error. That'll put Templeton in scoring position. So it's an E9. An error on O'Neill, who kicks the ball. And that's going to bring Abner. Sean Abner. And we'd rather face Abner than Bib Roberts. So let's pitch to Sean Abner. Here's the pitch, and that is going to be a 35, which will be a fly ball to left. Let's see if the runner will advance at second base. He will hold. F advances if there's one out. There is one out. Is he F? I think he's A. He is A. It's average. So it's an F7, too shallow for Templeton to advance. That's 2 away, and here comes Bib Roberts. Tim Liana versus Bib Roberts with the 2 outs, tying, well, the go-ahead run at second base. Here's the pitch from Liana, and that's a 64, and he'll get out of it. It's a ground ball. Ground ball, he's a batting lefty, ground ball to second base. Mariano Duncan up with it, and that retires the side. So no runs in the top of the 12th on 1 hit. And an error, they leave 1. And we go to the bottom of the 12th inning. Wow, what a game. All right, it's Eric Davis who's up. Score is tied at 7 apiece. The Padres, 7 runs, 17 hits, 2 errors. The Reds, 7 runs, 15 hits, and 1 error. Eric Davis. Davis today, he's got a couple of singles. Walked a couple of times. Scored 2 runs. Here's the pitch from Rich Rodriguez. And that's a 25. And that's bounced to short. Scooped up by Templeton, and he better hurry and throws out Davis for the first out. Here in the bottom of the 12th inning. Next up is Hal Morris. Should be the pitchers up, I believe. I believe Liana's up next. Let's see. Yes, he is. Tim Liana's up. And I believe that's all I got. Unless I can bring in Rick Naylor. Oh, and I have Kevin Brown. You got a couple of guys. All right. So we're going to pinch hit. Oh, and my last batter on the bench is Ken Griffey. So we're going to use Ken Griffey. Going to bring him in to pinch hit. And then we'll bring in I guess, to Mailer. So Griffey comes in with 1 out. Pinch hit in the 12th. Here's the pitch. And that's a 42, which will be an out, unfortunately. Usually that's a walk that's lifted to center field. On the run is Carter, and Carter runs out the fly ball from off the bat of Ken Griffey, Sr., of course. So it's 2 outs now, excuse me. And it is who's in this position now? Oh, O'Neill. And I don't think I grabbed him. Did I grab him? He's been in there for a while. I did grab him. Let's see where I put him. There it is. All right, all these guys are done, so I can knock them out, take them out, because it's getting crazy. All right, so Paul O'Neill's up. 2 out, nobody on. He's got power. Who knows? Lefty on lefty. Doesn't hit lefties well at all. Here's the pitch, and that's a 43. It's a blank, and a 43 will be a bouncer to second base. Up with it is Alomar, and he throws him out. 3 up and 3 down in that inning. No runs, no hits. We go to the top of the 13th inning. Wow, what a crazy game. And it's going to be a new pitcher for the Reds. It's going to be Brown. You know what? I'm going to bring Mailer because Rick Mailer's coming in. Let's see what kind of stuff Mailer will have. Mailer will have his ace stuff. Yes, sir. Rick Mailer comes in the 12th, top 13th, right? 13th, top of the 13th. He'll be facing the meat of the order, Alomar, Gwynn, and then Stevenson. Here's the pitch from Mailer. Let me set him up. Let's see. Late at night, this game, what time is it? It's like 3 in the morning. All right, so I have to be quiet because people have to go to work in a few hours. Rick Mailer versus Roberto Alomar. Here's the pitch. And that is going to be a 62, which is a strikeout. Got him with the curveball. 1 away. Next up is Tony Gwynn. Gwynn's got a 1, 2, 3 hits today. And that's a 13, which will be a grounder to second base. Duncan plants his feet and throws him out. 2 down. Top of the 13, 2 away. Not Jack Clark, it's Stevenson. What happened to his car? There he is. We'll put this one away as well. And here's the pitch to Phil Stevenson. Got some power, Stevenson does. And that's going to be a 42. This is probably a walk. Nope, it's not going to be a walk. It's going to be a bouncer to the first baseman. Who's over there? We have so many changes in this game. Who's over at first base? Hold on. Oh, Quinones. He'll flip to the pitcher. So it's that's a 3rd out. G3-1. And that ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the 13th. 3 up and 3 down in that inning. And it's Jeff Reed leading off against Rich Rodriguez. Now both pitchers are going to be. Well, no, Mailer's not fatigued. He can go forever. Rodriguez is about to get fatigued, if not already. So now I kind of have my own house rule. He goes to a seat, doesn't become, shelled, because then there's no game. So he faced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's still okay as long as he doesn't give up another base runner. Here's the pitch, 33. That's going to be ball 4. Another walk for Reed. He's the one that. Now Oster's up. No, Hatcher. Oster's gone. Oliver's gone. Benzinger's gone. Hatcher's up. Billy Hatcher, and we can't hit and run. Just gonna swing away. Oh, that's gonna be line base hit. And let's see if the runner will make it to third. He does make it to third base. Huge. First and third. Billy Hatcher rips one to left center field, and that's in a wave. The catcher Reed, slow-footed catcher at third. That's gonna bring up Quinones against Rich Rodriguez. Now Rich Rodriguez is tired, so he's going to go to his C. And the Reds are 90 feet away from their 15th consecutive victory. Holy smokes. If you're still around listening to this game, make sure you make a comment, because this is one long game. And bottom of the 12th inning. The Reds had it won in the top of the 9th. They were winning 7-5, and all they needed is one more out. Randy Myers couldn't accomplish that feat. Gave up a single to pinch hitter Darren Jackson. So it's Quinones with runners on first and third. Infield's going to be in, outfield's going to be in. Here's the pitch. And that is going to be a 32. And a 32 is going to be a drive down the line. If it stays fair, the ball game is over. Base hit, game is over. Luis Quinones gets mobbed, and the Reds have won their 15th in a row. And I made a couple of errors in that last inning that they should have won at least twice before. I should have bunted with Quinones, and I think when this flyout, the outfield was in on this flyout right here, because the bases were loaded, and I never checked to see if the ball was deep enough to go over the outfielder's head. I had to roll a D6, and I never did that. So that could have been a victory there. If he would have, the sacrifice here would have put him on third, and then this would have been a victory here. Luckily, I didn't screw up the 15th win in a row, and it was a huge base hit by Luis Quinones. What did I roll? I rolled a 32, and that's a double. But since the runner was at third, I'm going to give him a single, and the game is over. The Reds win it. Wow, I don't even have space to move on this table at this point. One long game. Rodriguez is going to take the loss. The win is going to go to Mailer. So, hold on, I'll give you the recap in a second. All right, so the Reds win their 15th game in a row. Excuse me, the recap is Reds 8 runs, 17 hits, and 1 error. The Padres 7 runs, 17 hits, and 2 errors. Game ended in the bottom of the 12th inning. Big hitters for the day for the Reds. Chris Sable with 4 hits. He was really and Duncan with 3. And the victory is going to go to Mailer. He's 7-4. The loss is going to go to Rodriguez. He's 1-1. And the Reds win their 15th in a row. The big 1-5. Wow, that's all I can say. 15 in a row, and the next game is going to be Hurst versus Armstrong. August 3rd, 1990. Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Fall Classic Baseball 1990 Reds replay. Follow me, like and subscribe, and click on that little bell so you're alerted as to any of my videos. And I will see you guys very, very soon, late night tonight. Take care. Hope you enjoyed the game.